Good morning. Okay, before I do that, let's do this. That's why I know the volume is good. Nope, the volume is not. Say something.
Say something.
There you go.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
You got it.
So we're good.
We good. We are good. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Sheila Faith Broadcasting Network Breaking News. Just for you and you and you, we just want to say God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. I am here this morning with, okay, let me turn down the volume. I am here this morning with, okay. We want to thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Spears.
Yes.
Praise God, praise God. And those that are listening, please put down Spears. Keep your mics off. Thank you so much. We just have this wonderful opportunity in breaking news that we have Louis Spears from Booker T Projects.
Booker T Projects.
Yes, in Jersey City. You launch your career in education degrees from Rutgers and Jersey City University.
Yep.
And Harvard University.
Harvard University.
Oh, you're a smart guy. Praise God, praise God. And the leadership experience from Boston to Africa to Trenton. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Having a sharper and your leadership in public policies and skills. Praise God. Just tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah.
We know that you have a wife.
Yes. My wife's name is Dr. Miriam Spears. She's a pediatrician, and her office is actually on Ocean, and the cross street is Fulton. There's actually called Doc Spot on the building. So she just opened yesterday. So really excited about where we are. We have 2 sons, Bo and AJ. AJ is 5. He just had a birthday October 12th, and Bo is 20 months. So I need a lot of prayer.
Yeah. Well, being mayor and with a little kid running around there.
No, we have an amazing right. We have an amazing support system, so we're able to do the work that we do because of our extended family.
Okay, now we're gonna get started.
Yes.
And I know you want to know more about him. Okay, I want to know more about it. Yes. Praise God. Stay. You said something about stay for Jersey State.
Yes.
What is that all about?
So I was born and raised here in Jersey City. I love this city. Probably a lot, like a whole lot. And probably, you know, what we see in our community now, particularly with the vulnerable population, they are forced out. People are being forced out of our communities who have great value, and there are not many systems to keep them here. And so STAY is an acronym, affected with policy, right? Like we're using a lot of policy to create the STAY idea, right? So S is for safety, T is for training and education, A is for access and affordability. Why? You ask? Because it's yours.
That's right.
Yes.
Why? You ask? What is your opinion on Jersey City? Is that safe for all residents, regardless of their zip code?
Yeah. And so essentially what's happening now, Bishop, unfortunately, is crime has been consolidated to one particular part of our city, and essentially it goes up ignored essentially. And so one would think that there are police cars on every corner, so therefore something has to be happening that's positively affecting the lives of the people in that community. But essentially, there's no real correlation between police being on the corners and crime being diverted, right? And so essentially, my goal, and then there are other pockets of our city where crime is happening, but because there isn't a stigma around it, we kind of ignore it, right? And so my goal is to make sure that anybody who is in our community feels safe walking through the streets of Jersey City, not just because the cops are on the corners, but because we have real systems, real preventative measures that would help us navigate our streets.
What gets me is that when the cops do stay on the corner, the drug dealers just go down 2 blocks to 3 blocks away. I have seen it with my own eyes. So what is your intake on that?
So here's the thing. Just because a police officer is sitting on a corner, that doesn't necessarily stop crime, right? What stops crime is the ability to build relationships, right? And what I'm saying is a preventative way to engage with the community. So yeah, we're talking about walking around, on foot patrol, but it's deeper than that as well. I think about back in the day with Viola Richardson and how she would police in the areas downtown, right? We knew who she was. We knew what she was about. She would chastise, the people, right? But then she will also encourage and give hugs. I would like share recipes with folks on the beat, if you will. And so that's a type of
a relationship,
absolutely,
in the community.
Absolutely, that's the type of policing I envision for Jersey City.
Okay.
Absolutely, that's the type of policing.
Can there be no conversations about the safety, a conversation of the safety of Jersey City without recognition that over the past 8 years, critical things, I'm just going to use things has been allowed to fail Jersey City. What is your opinion on that?
So I need clarification a little bit. Crime in particular?
Yes, crime, drugs.
So are they saying that it's
in the past 8 years? We have critical drug things.
So are they saying that
I'm just going to use it like that? Has been allowed to fail in Jersey City. I'm going to emphasize fail in Jersey City in 8 years. I would use a word that he sees me with the word, but I'm not going to use them. It's things, critical things that has been going on in the past 8 years. It's things that is still going on. What's your intake?
So essentially, as the next mayor, my goal is to create systems so that our youth and young folks of our community are not falling prey to this idea of crime, right? At the end of the day, providing employment for them, right? Providing enrichment programs and providing recreation activities, right? Like this is providing entity called ERC in Essex County. It's an evening reporting center. And essentially, it serves as a triage. It serves as a triage to send kids to where they would like to go based on their interests, right? And so those are the type of systems that we want to incorporate here in Jersey City, because we know that crime isn't the problem. Crime is a symptom of the problems that happen in our city, right? So when you think about crime, it's not this person is bad. It's this person don't have enough resources. This person isn't given the access to certain opportunities, right? This person don't have enough food in many cases. So how are we punishing the person for the crime per se when we haven't dealt with the core value, the core issues?
Okay. Combining sewage system needs attention immediately. How can you rectify?
So essentially, green infrastructure in our city in general needs to be upgraded. in general, right? We know that anytime that it rains, it floods, and the same folks are being impacted by these by the rain. And so when I think about green infrastructure, I think about it from a holistic point of view, that we're operating in silos, right? We have the people with the bike lanes, we have people with tree canopies. I want to bring everybody together so we're having a holistic conversation, right? And so one particular thing is the tree canopies, right? Ensuring that we're tree mapping at a higher rate, right? So we're saying that right now they do 300 trees, and a lot of them are ginkgo trees that aren't really beneficial to the environment here in Jersey City. My goal is to add more trees, right? But then the other thing with the sewage is what she's talking about, or he's referring to. Newark completely changed their sewage system in 3 years. And that's something that we're going to be adamant about here in Jersey City as well.
And we don't have that now.
We don't have that now, right? And then of course, open spaces, right? Like every open space doesn't need a building. We don't need to build on all the crevices of our city, because that's also adding to our infrastructure issue as well.
What's your intake about the schools need clean water?
Yeah. So
see, I get these questions,
that's fair,
and I'm looking at it and I'm saying it have to be well, it has to be a time that we start doing the correct thing, not the right thing, but the correct thing. If you understand what I'm saying.
You can elaborate. I would like to know.
Okay. No. This is your interview.
No, because you said correct thing versus right thing.
Yeah.
In my head, I want to know that
many things that seems right to the world may not be right. You understand?
Gotcha.
In the spiritual way and in the physical. Like, okay, we're doing this, that's right. But then in the other way, is it time to be correct on doing it? Everything is timing. Did I work that out?
Yes, sir.
He's giving me questions. No, we gotta twist this around. All right.
No, I need to clarify. I want to make sure I understand, Bishop.
Yes, but see, the thing is that what is the correct thing to do it? Many times my mother used to say that you do things by the book, right? But sometimes you can do something just not by the book, but you can do the same thing. There's many ways to get a beehive. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And so what was the original question? The drinking water. So as a teacher, that was one of my pet peeves, right? That we had to get water jugs, the little filters to get water. And sometimes the order didn't get in, and legit, a lot of our school community didn't have access to water, right? And so that's a travesty that's happening in our schools. I mean, that's a problem. The fact that, there's mold in some of the buildings, the fact that ceilings are collapsing. These are all issues that we need to galvanize around as a community, because essentially, right, our kids are our future. And if we're not doing right by them, right, and they're supposed to be our future, what are we telling them? Does Jersey City not have a future? Shouldn't that be a mayor and the superintendent getting together, agreeing what should be done in the schools? So technically, it should be the superintendent and the board members speaking about what needs to be done. The mayor needs to ensure that they pay their part of the tax levy, right? So we need to make sure that the schools are fully funded to equip the superintendent and the school board, and also the school leaders to do what they have to do for the community. Is that happening now? No, it hasn't happened. Our schools aren't fully funded. For the last 8 years? No. It wasn't for the last 8 years, because the school was under the state's leadership, right? And so my hope is that we come to a consensus on this and ensure that the city pays its part to the schools to ensure that we can have all the resources we need for our young people. Okay. Increased development means to increase population more, traffic, and decreased air quality
in some areas in our city. How can you address this situation that will impact and improve the quality of our city?
Yeah, so this is probably one of the biggest things that I will face as the next mayor, the infrastructure piece, right? The fact that poor air quality is a thing, we need to help folks not drive. What does that mean? We need to make sure that, we give them a reason to put their car away. So, and particularly in Ward B, this is where you are right now, right? When you look at your options for affordable quality food, where do you go? Where do you shop, right? Most of the people in Ward B who I've connected to, they go to Bayonne, either Trader Joe's, Walmart, ShopRite in Bayonne, or downtown Jersey City. But these are all options where they have to drive. So the idea here is to support the community businesses so that they could provide the resources for the people of the community. Essentially, we should be able to walk to any of the necessities that we need in our community.
It should be right here.
It should be right here. And so there's no way to really ensure that unless we connect with with the small businesses and other like community organizations, the civic, organizations to ensure that needs are being met in the community.
Right. What is your thoughts of the effective planning to ensure that the entire city is accessible through the safe bike lanes?
Right. So I just did a bike ride with JCast, and I saw firsthand how there's no real system in the city that connects one part of the city to the next. And so the city right now have invested in like barriers. So because essentially like on Montgomery Street, if you're riding down Montgomery Street, for instance, you can be riding in a bus lane next to you could be riding in a bike lane next to a bus, essentially. Right. And so that's dangerous. Yeah. And so we have committed, Jersey City just committed to the barriers, but I want to take it a step further. Right. I think that we need lights, like we need bike lights, not only car lights, but bike lights that gives us an opportunity to let bikers know how to, when to stop at the stop line, like how to operate at that spot at that time, right? But then the bigger thing is ensuring that we equip the city with a vital plan, right? That will get us from one part of the city to the next in a safe way.
Now, you think that's going to stop someone from not riding on the sidewalk?
No, I don't think so. But I do believe giving folks that when we give folks options, they'll be more likely.
Should that be forced that they have to ride in those lanes than on the sidewalk, unless they have their siblings, the children riding their bicycles on the sidewalk? But we're talking about people that going to work with on their bikes or going to the park. Should it be forced that they have to use those lanes?
Yeah, I think it should be encouraged that folks use the lane, and then in the event that they're not, we should enforce the rule of that, but definitely encouragement and supporting folks to let them know the safety of it. Yes, I know a lot of young people who ride their bikes to school, right? And they're not aware of the safety measures when they are on the sidewalk. But the problem is that they go on the sidewalk for safety measures now because there aren't enough bike lanes to get them from one part to the next. So, that's a slippery slope, right? If we're going to force it, then we need to make sure that there's a system that's robust for all of our community members. Absolutely.
Right. Okay, when you are mayor, how would you address the inclusive zoning ordinance that is truly inclusive, will create more affordable housing for families in Jersey City?
So most people know where I stand on this. I stand on the side of the 20% inclusionary zoning ordinance. We need to ensure that 20 out of 100 units that are built are set asides for low and moderate income families. This will help in so many ways. So most of you might not know, but Jersey City has always been like a renter's town, right? A renter's city. Right now, we are about 80% renters, 20% owners, homeowners. And so it's to our benefit to create systems that help renters stay here. So not only should we focus on inclusionary zoning ordinances, we should also focus on rent-to-own opportunities so that folks feel ownership of their space here in Jersey City. And then the workforce idea, where we are incentivizing police officers, firefighters, OEM, city workers, teachers to live in a city that they work in. Right, because essentially we are requiring that, firefighters, for example, live in Jersey City, but their starting salary doesn't allow them to afford the apartments here. Right. And so we have to incentivize it if we want to have them stay here, because we know if they stay, then they have more of an onus of what happens here.
Right. What is your intake with the tax debatement system that's here today? Let me emphasize today.
So it was unfortunate that we missed so many opportunities when giving out tax abatements all those years ago, right? And now we're not giving out any tax abatements. And I don't know if that is the right way. I don't know if putting a moratorium on tax abatements altogether is our answer. Right. When I think about not that this is one of my platforms, but when I think about this idea of 100% affordable housing units, I believe that developer should have an abatement, right? Because when we're talking about the materials, right, when we're talking about the ability to build it, the resources, making sure that every unit has equal value, right, of quality as well. We realize that the money, the numbers just don't add up if you don't provide a tax abatement. So just I don't know if they're all or nothing approach. That's what we have right now. In the first 4 years of Mayor Fulop's tenure, there was a bunch of tax abatements. All the tax abatement, no, right. Not all, I'm exaggerating, but there were at least 39 in that 4-year period. And now there are none. Right. So what are we doing?
Well, he had some owners, some builders that when you trace it, they didn't pay taxes on other buildings, and they still was hiring them in Jersey City. Will that happen when you become mayor?
So one particular thing that I'm running on, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, transparency is huge for me. Right. So let me give you an example. When you go onto the website for Newark, right, you could click on the budget icon and it tells you the budget from 2004 to now present. Right, and how money was spent. In Jersey City, you have to click on this button to go to that button, to go to that button, to go to that button. Right. And so after the third time, you're like, listen, where is it? I can't find it. It kind of discourages you. Right. So part of my transparency platform is to ensure that all of those types of dealings are on the front page of our website, so that is easily accessible.
Right, it's right there for you.
It's right there for you to see.
Okay, I know we probably said this question, but I'm going to say it again. How would you create more opportunities for diverse local businesses to work in Jersey City?
Right, so I love small businesses. I have a small business myself.
Me too.
Oh, really? Small businesses unite.
There you go.
Right. And so we know that the small businesses are the engine of local economy. Right. And so understanding that, it behooves the city to provide the resources for the small businesses. Right. And so the way that we start is by, connecting to Norm on goals. Like, what do you want your small business to look like? The next thing is access to resources, like shared ideas, creating a smaller community so that folks could like a Facebook page of some sort, right? Where folks could share ideas and exchange the best practices, right? The other thing is we have to give them access to capital. Right. I wish that I had folks in my corner who's like, hey, these are all the grants that are coming out this year, right? Providing access to capital, which would help if the office hours were, that were complementary to the schedule of small businesses. The other thing is creating ways for people to patronize, right? So how do we market? How do we help them market? How do we support them and get the word out? Because all of those things are going to help will help us in the long run. So we're making an investment now in the small businesses as Jersey City leaders, and then we'll reap the benefits because they're the engine, right?
What do you expect under your administration? What's the change? What's the thing? What's the shape? What's the move? What's the groove?
Yeah. So part of the reason why I jumped in is because I felt ostracized. I felt like I couldn't connect to the leadership here in Jersey City at times. And so the difference right now, we have a very top-down, domineering way of operating. And under my leadership, it's going to be bottom up, right? I'm going to be on the ground and understand what's happening, and then create the policies to support, the great things that are happening on the ground, right? The other thing is transparency and accountability. I feel indebted to the people of Jersey City, to the point where I want them to know everything that we're getting done, right? Because essentially, I'm the leader of Jersey City, but also I am an employee of Jersey City. I get paid based on, the residents here in Jersey City. And so it's my duty to serve folks and not the other way around. Right. And then the other thing is when choosing the people who are working in my cabinet, per se, right, the directors, I'm going to ensure that they have more love for the community than they have for me. Right. I want them to obviously they're going to respect me and execute my vision. However, I need them to love the people of Jersey City so much more. Right, because at the end of the day, when you love the people, you attend to their issues and their concerns, right? And in return, they understand they love and respect me for it. Right. You get that? Yes. But if you create leadership in your cabinet where their only goal is to appease you, then essentially we may not even touch the people. Right, because their heart is not in it. Absolutely. And so right now we're in a peculiar situation now, because many of the directors are acting directors in our city's leadership, right? And so essentially the cabinet consists of acting directors instead of directors, right? And so with regular directors, the city hall could veto any type of termination that the mayor try to make, right? So let's say, for instance, you're a director, you stand up for the people, right? And mayor's like, I don't like how you work. And he tries to fire you, the city council could veto that, right? But an acting director, right? You can't veto that because the acting director is always going to be beholden to the mayor. Right. Because you have to be careful with all these, let me word it correctly, with the those that are on the council now, they are swaying into another direction, and that direction is where the mayor's at. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think that in Jersey City, certain people's voices are valued over others. And let me be particular. People who are wealthy and well-connected in our city holds more value than people who have nothing in our community, right? Or have very little. Right. And so what are we saying here? That you're worth the money that you bring? You're worth the people you know? You're worth the people you're connected to? No, you have value because you are a human being in our community, and we're going to treat you as such. Well, eventually that will be like that
when you're mayor.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And let me say this, right?
That's the way it should be.
It should be
in the beginning.
Absolutely. But this is the deal. I'm convicted in this so much so that that's how I operate in my real life. And it's contagious, right? I give the same type of respect to the janitor of the building who keeps the building clean that I do the mayor of the city. Mm-hmm. How are you? How is your day? Right? Essentially, we should be loved because we're people. We're children of God. Right? Why do I need to have a certain amount of money in my bank account before you so that you hear me? Yes. Why do I have to vote or have a house in order for you to hear me?
I can relate to that because I used to work at the American Stock Exchange, mm-hmm. right? And me being an African American, right? It was like 95% the Caucasians, mm-hmm. and it was times that they treated us differently in a way that we can see it, mm-hmm. but that didn't stop us of not only making that money, but getting educated to a point that they had to show us respect.
Absolutely.
You understand? But if you lay back and you say, okay, this is the good old boys, this is the way it's supposed to be, mm-hmm. you're never going to advance or anything. Mm-hmm. Now we have young people at the age of 15, 14, having children. Mm-hmm. Then they drop out of school. Should it be, let's say, a development program to get them on the right track or to angle it that they have a chance?
Mm-hmm. And so this is always my favorite thing to talk about, yet my most difficult thing to talk about, right? When you talk about young people not having resources at early on, right? We not only not support them, then we vilify them for making a mistake that they would normally make, right? And so, of course, programs, but it should be embedded in the culture and our fabric here in Jersey City. So how are our schools validating this young lady who was pregnant at 14 and 15, right? Excuse me, this isn't a new phenomenon, right? Mm-hmm. We know, but I know that we've seen, we're hoping that our efforts will mitigate a lot of these things from occurring. Mm-hmm. So not necessarily a program, but it should be embedded in the fabric of our culture.
And then you have the grandmothers taking care of the grandchildren.
Yeah, that's not a new phenomenon either, you know?
And the seniors, there are more programs for the seniors mm-hmm. to go out. But then if you look at let me put it this way. Statistics shows mm-hmm. that when the elderly are more gamblers than ever before.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Rolando Lavaro, councilman, mm-hmm. We used to do a coalition. We was working in a coalition, PAFCOM, mm-hmm. years ago, and we did a survey, mm-hmm. and the survey was that when you're the elderly, when you're the senior, they have nothing else to do, mm-hmm. and if it's not going to the ladies of the night. Mm-hmm. They spend their money gambling.
Wow.
And but what is your intake on that? So I had to throw you a boomerang. I had to throw you a little.
I appreciate it, Bishop. I appreciate it. I'm enjoying myself right now. Thank you. I've spoken to seniors in the community, mm-hmm. And if you ask them, they'll tell you exactly what they need. The bus systems have, stopped a lot of their ability to do their activities and their ability to, just have regular life, right? So, right now they have the via cars going around. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, two things are barriers. That is an increase, so they're no longer paying 75 cents. But then there's also this idea of not being able to having to use a credit card. I don't know about you, but my mom is like 50 something, and she still doesn't want to use her credit cards
Right.
because she's like, I don't trust anyone. I don't know what's going on, right? And so when I talk to the seniors, they're like, listen, I'm not putting my card on, I don't trust these folks. And so it stops them from being able to do things like, go to the grocery store and bring their carts, right?
Right.
It stops them from being able to window shop for their grandchildren for their birthdays or holidays. It stops them from going to the gym if they have a desire to do so.
Right.
I hate that their only pastime is to gamble, but my goal is to mobilize them in ways that will have them 21st century ready. Right? So there's a digital divide, right? We want to make sure that we give a lot of training to our seniors in the community around, how to work the phone in a way that they can access the world. Right. And then also the other thing that we want to do is support them and figuring out what other ways, what other things that they need aside from their weekly rides to Walmart.
I had a program for 5 years with PABCOM and the what's the hospital, Price Hospital, and we called the healthy aging. So
healthy aging.
Yes,
I love it.
And we had a lot of programs for the elderly. We taught them computers. Oh man. Well, that's try to show me again, young man. Come on. All right. Yes, ma'am.
I love it. That's right.
And they need more programs like that.
Absolutely. Listen, they were patient with us when we were kids, hard-headed and stuff, right? Not listening.
Not me.
We owe it back to them to be just as patient.
If you're looking at it, I have my finger.
His arms were crossed and his eyes were crossed.
Okay. If elected, or when you get elected, what do Black Lives Matter moment means to you and the residents mostly affected in all our wards?
No, definitely. So when we talk about Black Lives Matter, this isn't an idea or a concept that's beyond me, right? I'm a Black man. I was over policed, right? When I look at my boys, and especially after what happened on January 6th, right? I look at them and I'm like, God, I brought them into this crazy world. And, and I really went in prayer at that time, right? Because when you think about the things that could happen to them, right, it leaves you a little nervous, but we know that God didn't give us a spirit of fear, right? And we put it in his hands and we rear them in the right way. And so that's what it is. But Black Lives Matter, we want to make sure that, we observe it every year, right? And ensuring that folks, know what that means exactly,
right?
And then also allowing folks to express themselves in whatever way that they like, right? Organizations, how do you want to express that your Black Lives Matter? But bigger than that, and galvanizing the community, police officers, right? I hate that police officers are pit against the Black community in many ways. I haven't met one Black person who said, I do not want a police officer in my community, right? At the end of the day, we safety is key. Safety is key to any thriving community, right? And so we want to make sure that the relationship between the Black community and the police officers are nurtured and that they are intentional. I've done things like breakfast with police officers, right? Where I had my young men sit with police officers and have breakfast and ask them questions, right? I've been in situations where police officers would buy prom dresses for young ladies in the community and support them.
That's not her.
Right. And so part of the issue here is we're not necessarily highlighting a lot of the great things that our police officers are doing around the community, right? And so but then when it's bad, we share everything, right? And so let's let's be more vigilant about exposing some of the good things, but then also supporting Black folk, supporting the good things that police officers do, but also supporting Black folks and hearing the stories of, disenfranchisement, right? And understanding that, listen, both could exist in our ecosystem, but we could figure out a way to really connect the two. And that's the space that I want to occupy.
Okay, sound good. Okay, last question. Then it's all yours.
No pressure.
Dun, dun, no. What is your biggest focus for Jersey City in 2022?
Wow, that's a huge question. I was hoping you say the first 4 years, because then I could just spew a bunch of things out. But you said 2022. Funding the schools.
You're right.
Huge. Being intentional about green infrastructure in our community and infrastructure in general, huge, right? Safety, working in concert with the county and the city, and ensuring that the best systems are in place right here in Jersey City when we're talking about safety. And then affordable housing. We have to pass this inclusionary zoning ordinance.
Right.
We have to. And essentially, we should revisit those every 2 years, because the community.
Why is that so important?
Yes, because the community morphs, right? Jersey City is transient in many ways. And so every 2 years, every 3 years, we should revisit it to understand who our population is and who do we have to serve. So right now, we might have an inclusionary zoning, and I'm about to be very technical, but with AMI, average median income, where let's say it's 70,000, but let's say there's an influx of people who's making more money, right? So that AMI might increase in the next 2 years, so we might have to revisit something, right? So we should always, every 2 years, we should revisit our inclusionary zoning ordinance to ensure that we are serving the people of the community.
That's really important.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Do I have any more questions? No, I do not. I believe that someone is listening and watching on Facebook and on Zoom. They want to know more about you. You have this opportunity to let them know, not only a husband, not only a father, but the next mayor of Jersey City. People are dying every day. Drugs is going up and down. Murder, and they say that the crime is going down, and this, that, and the other, and the other, and that.
So let's be clear with that, right? Crime went down from 2019 to 2020. I mean 2020. 2019 to 2020. It went down. Why? It was a pandemic. Everyone was in the house. Who was hurting one, right? For the most part, things happen, but obviously it's going to go down. Right. Because
everybody's sick.
Right.
Not everybody, but they are home. Okay.
But let's be clear though.
Right.
Homicide in Jersey City has improved 31% from last year to this year.
Okay.
Right. So that means that there is a problem with crime in our community, but that's not the narrative that they want to give with the statistics, like you said, that they use.
So that's why I'm saying it
in a nicely way
where you can attack it. I'm trying to help you out here. Okay, just look in that camera and just talk to the people.
Yes. All right. So my name is Louis Spears. I was born right here in Jersey City. My upbringing in Booker T prepared me for the academic expectation at Harvard University, where I obtained a degree and where I received a graduate degree in leadership. I had a chance to go anywhere else in the world. I decided to come right back here in Jersey City to start my nonprofit, which is nationally recognized, Kismet of Kings. And we have affected the lives of 400 young men and their families for the past 9 years. Why am I running for mayor? I'm running for mayor because I believe that you deserve to be here. To the parent who is struggling between having to pay for groceries or paying for their rent because the rental assistance program is delayed, you deserve to be here. to the firefighter who just passed their test, right? But can't afford to live here because we haven't passed a robust inclusionary zoning ordinance. You deserve to be here. To the teacher who's spending his money on supplies for his classrooms because our schools have been defunded, you deserve to be here. As a son of Jersey City, I'm committed to ensuring that Jersey City is developed into a city that our kids are proud to inherit. So listen, Jersey City, you have an option. You have an option to choose a mayor who has your best interests at heart, who understands what it is that you're going through, who lived in the same community and was affected by the same policies that you were affected by. So again, my name is Louis Spears, and I am your choice for mayor because you deserve to be here. Thank you.
You have been listening to the Sheila Faye Broadcasting Network with breaking news with yours truly, Bishop Earlin Thomas, and interviewing my
new best friend,
my brother, Mr. Louis Spears.
Absolutely. Thank you for this.
How can they contact you?
Oh man, I'm on all of the social media outlets, Instagram, Facebook, Spears for Jersey City. On Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. I'm everywhere. And then my personal page is Mr. Louis Spears.
Okay, so they can contact you. Listen, you can contact him and ask him questions and
please do.
And vote.
Yes.
We need you to vote.
November 2nd. And actually, you can actually vote early starting this Saturday, October 23rd, all the way to October 31st. The hours are 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., except on Sundays, where it's going to be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We have 4 sites. We have Persian Field. We have the City Hall downtown. We have Moose Lodge on West Side. And then we also have the Gallo Center in Lincoln Park. Go there, vote early, 3A all the way. And also look.
Say it again.
Go there.
3A.
Go there, vote early, 3A all the way.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay, my man, it's great.
Appreciate you.
All right.
I appreciate everyone out there. Thank you.
And please share this with a neighbor, a friend, a loved one, and a foe. We need this information out there. Those of you that are in Jersey City,
right? We
need it. Keep it locked. That's how.
Yes.
That's
keep
how.
It locked.
Yeah, keep it locked.
Okay.
The L, the O, the C, and the K, the E, and the D. If you wanna be with us.
Okay.
You have been listening to the Sheila Faye Broadcasting Network with yours truly, Bishop Earlin Thomas. Breaking news. Keep it locked.
Thank you.